Welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up?
And Bebo.
What's up?
Bebo.
Today we are going to be reviewing the movie Edward Scissorhands. This is from 1990. It is a scientist builds an animated human being, the gentle Edward. The scientist dies before he can finish assembling Edward, though leaving the young man with a freakish appearance accentuated by the scissor blades he has instead of hands. Loving suburban saleswoman Peg discovers Edward and takes him home, where he falls for Peg's teen daughter. However, despite his kindness and artistic talent, Edward's hands make him an outcast. That was a lot.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
This was my movie, so I'm gonna start this off. From the opening credits, you automatically know that this is a Tim Burton movie with Danny Elfman doing the soundtrack.
Yeah, absolutely.
This, I freaking got into that feeling like a Beetlejuicy type of night. What is it? Was that
Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas type deal. That it took me right there. This movie it started off with a saleswoman going Avon calling, and such bright colors. The hairdo, I cannot figure out. For the life of me cannot figure out when this time period was supposed to be. It was like
You figure maybe 80s because of the Avon, so it might have been period based.
But with the hair and stuff, I was thinking closer 50s, maybe 60s, and stuff like that. It was just very, very Tim Burton. It was very
perfect.
Tim Burton.
That is a perfect explanation. Yes. Good job.
I enjoyed it though, for the most part, without getting into my ratings. You know, it's Johnny Depp. You know, he has hands for scissors, or scissors for hands. Yeah, scissors for hands. Yes. Stop that.
What's the name of the movie?
It and play it again. No, you know, you see him. He has cuts on his face and stuff because he was put together by a mad scientist, basically. So he has cuts because he cuts himself with the scissors. Super sharp scissors that he's had all these years. Apparently, they never go dull. Never
rust.
Never rust. Yeah, so it was. I'm not gonna hit all the big plot points and stuff like that. It's a 1990 movie. Go watch it. It just brought back a lot of memories because this movie was also shot very close to the town I grew up in. Seeing some of the locations, such as Southgate Mall, the city that they used for the houses was filmed in Lutz and stuff like that. So you saw a lot of locations that I'm familiar with. So it did bring back a lot of memories to me. Mikey the Freak, what did you actually think of this?
Yeah, the movie definitely screams Tim Burton. Eerie, creepy, dark,
weird.
A lot of everything he always does. I say always, but in several of his movies, he does colors for good. So, and then like a lot of black and whites.
There's a lot of contrast.
Very much so. Very much so.
Contrast.
Yeah, so it makes sense why there's no color on Edward Scissorhands, all black and grays, right? And even the town is very colorful, but yet the castle or the mansion that was back there was all blacked out. It was very dark and disturbing almost.
It looked like Wayne Manor.
A little bit, yeah.
Tim Burton, Batman, yeah, weird. That's where he got the idea. But yeah, it's it's one of those movies where you can get into it. It's fun, it's interesting. When growing up in the 80s, My mom used to sell Avon, so I kind of relate. That's kind of what I meant by 80s. But Avon's been around for years, so
Yeah.
you're probably right, Bearded Geek. It's probably maybe 50s, 60s. You know, they do a lot of those very, very colorful houses back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those movies you can really attach yourself with. You know, how each one of them are feeling. So they separate the characters. You have Edward that feels like an outcast, but yet, you know, the mom was very
welcoming,
easy, very welcoming,
very welcoming. You would not be able to take a stranger with Scissors for Hands now and bring them into your house without questioning.
Sure,
and the dad was like, yeah, whatever. You know, whatever.
Exactly. So I thought that was kind of like, really? But it's not supposed to be like real life. You're not gonna do that shit at all. And then it's basically somebody with, like, I don't know, a second head. You're not coming into my house, you know. And I could say you're very
Avon ain't helping with that shit.
No. And it's funny because she finally gets to talk to the CEO because of his complexion to kind of make him more normal looking, I guess you could say, and kind of get rid of all those scars that he has on his face. But, you know, you really attach yourself with Winona Ryder's character and how, you know, she kind of starts off where she has feelings for him at first. You know, you kind of can see that a little bit, and kind of she feels sorry for him. And then, you know, grows to love him at the end. And then Anthony Michael Hall is a big, you know, a bully. He's the bully of every movie. There's always a good version of
He's a dick.
He's a douche. He's a douche.
He's a douchey dick.
Yeah.
He's a double D. Douchey dick.
And you know, and the reason why I was saying, like, because it was kind of 80s, because if you look at the cars, the van, I think, was almost maybe 70s. So I don't think there's very a era or periodic type.
It almost seems like it kind of just combines all those.
Yeah,
because you see a Gremlin, you see the van, and, you know, so there's a bunch of different cars from different types of years. So
that
you
does
can't
make
really
sense
point a
for it
finger.
being a Tim Burton movie too. I mean, no real time period, just
out there.
Sort of an amalgamation of different time areas.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, you know, he used his skill with scissors. They kind of found something that he was good at, so they embraced his abnormality, as you were, to make him successful. He was popular. He you know, he cut hair, he did hedges and bushes, and and it's cool because I've seen and pet grooming. So anything that has to do with cutting, he used those and honed those skills to become basically the best. And that's where you see Southgate Mall, where they buy the beauty salon. You know, literally, it's what, 15 minutes from the house right now. I'm down there almost every weekend for HTO. That it's one of those movies where that, no matter how, you know, I guess everyone has some kind of abnormality, right?
Right.
And there's always something wrong. Nobody's perfect, right? So they find,
speak for yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? Shit. So yeah, you're perfect. I get it. But taking and embracing the differences from each individual person, and taking those and, you know, almost like spotlighting it, and to make it make you better as a person. And I think that's kind of what I don't think that's what Tim Burton was looking for, but I like that fact. But yeah, a great type movie, fun with every character was cool. But Bevo, what did you think more about the movie? I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it.
No. I have seen it, but I'll be honest, it's probably my least favorite Tim Burton movie. I was never a huge fan of it when I was younger, when this first came out. You know, it was cool, like you guys said, the fact that this was, you know, filmed, you know, in my hometown where I grew up. You the restaurant they ate in is actually across the street from the Southgate Shopping Plaza there. The story, I mean, it's like you guys said, it is. There's no way in hell you would be able to watch this and not be like, oh, this is a Tim Burton flick. There's a Tim Burton written all over it. But I liked the fact that, like you said, they found something he was good at. They try to find something that made him a part of the community, with not only watching him started off by what he could do with like hedges, trimming them, making them into objects, animals, things like that. Then he did it with the dogs. Then he started cutting their hair, the ladies' hair in the neighborhood and stuff. I will say that probably, and this is really stupid, but my favorite part in the entire movie is the fact that they put a guy with scissor hands in a waterbed.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Yes.
Watching him poke and then seeing water come up and then freaking out whenever it just goes everywhere was freaking hysterical.
One of my favorite was the first time that he actually poked it and it started squirting him in the face. He puts a teddy bear on top of it. That's going to solve all the problems right there, little teddy bear.
No, and when she scares him and comes home that night, and he's like, that was hilarious.
Yes.
That was good.
And it was real funny for me because my brother back in the 80s, when they lived with me when I was real young, I remember him having a waterbed. Mm-hmm. And the first time I got to go on it, I was like, I'm just like, okay, what the hell is this about? You're just sitting there.
I miss waterbeds.
Yeah, I know. They were fun as they'd be fun as a day bed, but I feel like they would be fucking horrible to sleep on at night. Like, I don't know if I could ever get comfortable.
I had one. They're not very comfortable.
My ex-girlfriend had one. It wasn't very. It was not very comfortable.
It's like owning a hammock. Like it's fun in your mind, and then you actually get one, and you're like, okay, well, I used this twice. Let me go ahead and put this up now. But anyways, back to the movie. The movie itself, it was the storyline was okay. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of this, and it's not so much the story. It's just I didn't like the movie itself. It didn't really appeal to me. The story of taking somebody who's made who doesn't fit in, trying to get them to fit in, and everything he had to go through with that, and learning everything. That is stories that we see in a lot of different movies, and I do like those stories. I just wasn't a huge fan of Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, but this story is completely the opposite. This is an outcast that is accepted right away and then cast away. Most movies, it's the outcast who's casted away and then slowly becomes accepted.
Towards the end of the movie.
True, but
this is totally different. And
it's not totally different.
It is. It's opposite.
Half. They like him at first.
It's opposite.
They accept him at first.
It's half and half. Just fucking sit there and drink your creamer. You've had your turn. It's my turn. Sit there, drink your half and half creamer, and shut up. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Guys, it is never a dull moment with us, as you can see.
Fuck this. I'm going home. But no, I do think that the actors in the movie, I do feel like they all gave really good performances for this movie. Mm-hmm. I thought that Anthony Michael Hall played a great Double D, a douchey dick. But
I think he went overboard a little bit too much.
He did, by the end, I was ready to kill him. But whatever.
Yeah. Edward got him. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I didn't make that part of the movie. Shit, he ran away and I turned it off. Oh, I guess that's the end.
Credits. But no, I mean, a lot of people like this movie. The parts I like about it are the things that are nostalgic to me, being able to see the parts of the town I grew up in. I do like Johnny Depp as an actor. Winona Ryder, very hit or miss. Mostly miss.
Her parts aren't the movies she's been in aren't very appealing.
Yeah.
I guess you
would
could
say
say.
that.
There's not a lot of range in her
No.
interacting.
No, she sounds the same.
She's
whiny
the
as
80s
shit
and
still.
90s version of what's her name? The chick
Kristen
from
Stewart?
the Twilight. Yes, her from
Oh, yeah,
Kristen
that's
Stewart.
true. That's a
It's
good
very
point.
it's very much the like 90s version of Kristen Stewart, or the 80s version. But the movie does have good things in it. You know, I like I said, I laughed my ass off watching him with the waterbed. As a kid, it was very cool seeing someone who had scissors for hands. And then also watching him create stuff like with the hedges, the dogs, you know, the haircuts, the different things he could come up with.
Very creative.
Yeah, it was very creative. But you can definitely, but like I said, this is definitely a Tim Burton flick. There's no doubt about that. I feel like Tim Burton is almost an adjective at this point, where you're like, this is a very Tim Burton film. But
people know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
The second you mention that you watch a Tim Burton film, like everybody pretty much in their head can kind of understand what the cinematography and all that's going to end up being.
Like, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's kind of just where I am on it. I mean, it was a good movie, but it's just not my favorite Tim Burton film. It's not one that I myself would probably watch again.
All right. Well, I will start off with ratings. Like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a very whimsical Tim Burton movie. It was a very whimsical movie. The storyline was opposite of what normally happens in movies. Is
that right, Bevo? Is that right?
It did not have it did not have your traditional happy ending. It was a fun movie. It captured my attention. It kept me entertained. The music fit the movie perfectly. Danny Elfman soundtrack, hands down one of the best. Hands down one of the best musical directors ever. I will give this a 7.5. 7.5. It's in that high threshold. You know, there's other movies that are definitely better. It's hard to give a Tim Burton movie much higher than that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a comedy type person and stuff like this. This had elements of comedy, but it still had too much darkness in it as well. So 7.5 from me. Mikey the Freak, what are you giving?
I mean, I liked the movie back when it came out. I didn't really know much of Johnny Depp back then. I think this is probably one of the first movies I saw him in, other than maybe What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
21 Jump Street, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I really didn't watch 21 Jump Street.
I don't think I saw 21 Jump Street until like after he was like well known.
Yeah. You kind of have to go back and watch his previous stuff. So so this is probably one of the first movies I watched of Johnny Depp, and he's one of those character actors that once he gets in the role, he plays it so well.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah.
So well. I liked that aspect of it. I wasn't a fan of Winona Ryder. There's only a few things I like her in, and I'll get to that on my segment. But it's Anthony Michael Hall. I think he went way over the top of being a bully, because he came from a childhood actor. So there was a lot he did in the 80s, and this was like one of his first movies in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So I think he wanted to try that bad boy persona, and I don't know if the character or Tim Burton wanted that out of that character, but
I'm sure, because Tim Burton is that way over the top type person. So.
Yeah. So I mean, so again, I mean, he's still a great actor too, Anthony Michael Hall. But right. The colors, the cinematographer wasn't bad. I love Danny Elfman and a lot of good stuff that he does.
Absolutely.
Between him and Alan Silvestri, is probably one of the biggest movie composers of all times. Just they're so well known. When you think of a movie, you say Danny Elfman, he's done like 50 to 100 different movies, and you don't realize it until you look up his rap sheet, right? So I like that part, but just the movie in general, I do like the fact that I can literally drive 15 minutes away and see Southgate Plaza with Publix, and it's still there.
Yeah.
and it looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
It really does. Yeah.
They never changed it. Now the barber shop is not there anymore. They did block it off because Publix took over right next door, so they took that whole section. So the barber shop in that part of the building, or that little room, isn't there anymore. But it's still iconic. The archway, all that stuff is still there. And the restaurant is something completely different now, but you can see the building is still there.
Yeah.
But it's still it's one of those to where when you relate, when you watch the movie and you can go to the actual scenes where it's in the movie, it kind of makes you feel like you're a part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because hey, shit, Johnny Depp and them they were parked right here. You know, they were right here where I'm standing. So that's always kind of cool. But in general, the movie, I give it a 6 because I do like Tim Burton movies. But yeah, you're right. It's hard to give Tim Burton more than a 7.5 because unless you like that dark type movies, you're not gonna like Tim Burton at all.
Yeah. I can think of maybe one movie that would get higher than that. It's a Tim Burton movie. They're in that. Kind of hard to jump that.
Yeah, and maybe one A Nightmare Before Christmas. I was thinking
Batman, but
Batman's a good movie too. But again, it's Batman. It's iconic. Exactly. It's not Edward Scissorhands. That he's not a superhero or
it's not a Joel Schumacher Batman. Okay, nips and cockpiece. I'm just saying.
So overall, what I just discussed. I give it a 6. Bebo, what about yourself, bro?
Like I said, I do like Tim Burton movies. I do like Tim Burton movies. I'm not saying I don't like him as a director. It's just not everybody's going to love every movie he does. This was not one of my favorites that he did. Like you guys said, I do like the nostalgic part, especially being able to go there and be at the places where it was filmed, for this being basically around our hometown here. For me, I would probably give this a 5, somewhere in the middle. It's sure shit ain't macking me, but let's be honest.
Why are we
nothing
gonna
ever
bring that
is.
up? That's a bad memory.
We need to stop bringing that up in every freaking video.
But I would say I'd give it a 5. It's purely for nostalgic purposes and just the brief parts that I did like about the movie is why I would give it a 5. Otherwise, it would be lower. But that's where I am on the movie.
Not a problem. All right. Bebo, we have movie trivia. What you got for us today, man?
So I got a few things here that I thought were interesting. One is the fact that the movie was actually inspired by a drawing that Tim Burton had done when he was a teenager. It was a drawing depicting a thin, solid man with long, sharp blades for fingers. He said that since he liked to draw ever since he was younger. Oftentimes, images would come up and they'd stay with him, and you'd keep drawing them. This was a character he sketched a while back, but that's basically where the idea from this came. I thought it was interesting that if you actually look at the movie, Edward only says 169 words in the entire film, which, if you think about it, is not a lot.
That's very true. He's quiet throughout most of the movie.
Yeah. Now, here's one thing I thought was kind of interesting in regards to the way the town looked when you first see the town as opposed to like where Edward lived. Mm-hmm. The reason for that is the entire story is meant to be seen through Edward's eyes, which is why the neighborhood looks so fantastical, kind of like a fantasy land. Okay. Is because it's supposed to be his view of that, something he's never seen before, and how it's almost like a fantasy land to him because it's not anything he'd ever been exposed to before. The last thing I wanted to go over was in regards to Vincent Price, who was actually the mad scientist, if you will. Mm-hmm. This was his last screen appearance. And what's funny is it was his last screen appearance, and his last moment ever on screen is a death scene. His role was actually intended to be larger, but the veteran actor was very ill with emphysema and Parkinson's disease, so scenes were cut to the minimum that we actually see in the film. But there's a lot more trivia. You can go online and look this up, but those were kind of the key points that I liked.
Awesome. Now we have some movie memorabilia. You can check this out. It is a Edward Scissorhands 1/4 scale statue. It for $499.95.
Cheap.
Yep, it's a good size too. It's probably about like that. And
6 inches.
That's the size of my monitor, bro. That's huge. It's like that big.
I know, right? No, it's a cool looking statue. It has Edward doing a pose in it. It's a really cool statue.
What's he doing?
Yeah.
Something like this.
He's like, he has the scissors in like a what's up pose, you know?
Mike, don't throw up Mike, don't throw up gang signs.
What's up?
If you don't want that, you could just get the Scissorhands, the life-size Scissorhands. Edward Scissorhands life-size Scissorhands prop by HCG new exclusive edition for $999.95.
He's like this. Sorry, had to. That was funny.
You could also get a life-size Edward Scissorhands Johnny Depp wax resin statue. Realistic.
Life size.
Yes, life-size.
Like life-size. Like
life-size.
6 foot tall life-size?
I don't know if Johnny Depp's that tall.
Bigger than your monitor.
Yes, bigger than your monitor.
That'd be creepy.
Yes, it for $15,900. But you get free shipping on it. Free shipping.
Oh,
free shipping.
Yeah, that doesn't quite look like Johnny Depp, but you know, to each their own.
Yeah,
you can just go to Madame Tussauds and rip that one off. Run and just put it in the chopper cart. Run.
Now,
please make sure you keep it out of the heat.
Right. Now we have some related reels from Mikey the Freak.
All right. So I went with our 3 main characters. Let's start with Anthony Michael Hall. There's all 3 main characters: Anthony Michael Hall, Winona Ryder, and Johnny Depp. Those are the 3 that I picked, of course. They've been in so many movies. So I kind of picked some of my favorites that you guys should look for. Anthony Michael Hall, of course, we know him for The Breakfast Club. Always got to mention The Breakfast Club. That's kind of where I first saw him. You know, the 16 Candles. Huge 80s, I'd say childhood actor, but it was really in his probably teens. But I liked him in The Dead Zone, which was on USA.
It was a good show.
Yeah, so if you can find it was a remake from the Christopher Walken movie, The Dead Zone. And they made it into a TV series with him. I loved The Dead Zone. Still have all the seasons on DVD. A great piece to watch.
What the fuck is a DVD?
Oh, we stream now. I'm sorry, yes. We streamed. I don't know if it's streaming yet, but maybe it's on the USA app. So anyway, and then just recently he was in Halloween Kills, which was actually a very good movie. And he gets stabbed again in this one. So it's weird. He's just kind of full circle on that. I don't know how that works. It's weird. So yeah, it was an okay movie. I would say they need to give it a rest. So my opinion. So Winona Ryder, you know, we talked about Tim Burton in the past. Beetlejuice, one of the biggest movies that I liked her in. And then if you want to go comedy, we talk about Mr. Deeds. Hilarious Adam Sandler movie with Mr. Deeds.
You underestimate my sneakiness.
Very sneaky, sir. Very sneaky. And then my favorite a television series right now is Stranger Things, where she plays Joyce. So she's done, you know, a lot of these 3 have done television work, but that's the biggest one I like for Winona Ryder. And then of course, who doesn't like anything that Johnny Depp's in? So you know, some of my favorites, Alice in Wonderland. Again, we talk about character actors with Johnny Depp. Once he gets in the character, you just, it's almost like you can't tell.
He is that character.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't tell it's Johnny Depp. Like he is the Mad Hatter, and I thought amazing actor. Fantastic Beasts, where he plays Grindelwald. Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, again, all character type actors. Crybaby. I had to go with Crybaby. If you've never seen Crybaby, just take take an hour and a half out of your life and just throw it away. But but watch it. It's not a great movie, but it's one of those like, wow, he really made this out of the shit he's making now. That's garbage. And then my favorite Johnny Depp movie is Sweeney Todd. I love Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, he was
very, very good. Him and Helena Bonham Carter. Again, also a Tim Burton movie. So that's shocker, right? It's always Helena Bonham Carter and Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp. It's funny. He uses the same one. But yeah, and that is my favorite Tim Burton movie is Sweeney Todd, The Demon of Barber Street. And that, if you like musicals, it is a musical, but it is a great movie.
Awesome.
But all right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
As we come to a close, man, do all the YouTuber things. If you like this video, give us a good old thumb in. Leave a comment. Tell us what you would like us to review. Make sure it's an 80s or 90s movie. Stuff like that. Hit that bell to get notifications for when we post videos. So I do believe that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. So for Mikey the Freak and Bebo, I am the Bearded Geek Stan. Keep it retro, everybody.
Peace.